Hey world, what's good? It's your boy OG and I'm back with another video. And today we're talking about the dreaded culture war. I know some of y'all are probably mad about it already, but we'll talk about it, and especially as it pertains to gaming. Now, I've talked about stuff like this like off and on, whether it's on my podcast, Emperor's Court, or other people's podcasts as well. But I've never really just sat down and give my full thoughts on it. So I figured I'd just make a video ranting about it now. How about that? We all know gaming is like extremely popular. One of the more popular forms of entertainment today. I think it's even rivaling music at this point. I personally think that's a good thing. It is. It's done so much good over the years. It's brought people together, whether it's family, friends, generating new friends, and even potential lovers at some point, depending on who you ask. And it's been nothing but an amazing time. So many amazing memories, so many dope games. Some games not so great, of course, but it's overall been a great time, I think. But all the good that gaming has given us, there's also been quite a bit of bad things that gaming has done as well. And with gaming being mainstream, it's also opened the door to a lot of various types of people. There's a lot of things that's been problems in gaming, and I want to go over a few of them here. One of which is, I guess we'll start with the one off the top, is the wokeism in gaming. And I know a lot of people get mad about it. I can hear disparity groaning right now. But honestly, we have to define what it is. And I think that's a reason why a lot of people are, rolling their eyes at the woke stuff, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on politically, is because the word has been, for all intents and purposes, been taken out of context, or out of context rather. It's been twisted so much to the point where people forget what that means. So I want to pull this up here, and this is what woke originally meant, was to be aware and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. And this was something that was beginning to get more widespread use in 2014. And this was specifically around the time when Anita Sarkeesian was a thing. And she did her feminist frequency show and infusing gaming with her main talking points. And this was something that was, to be fair, just shitty. I'm not gonna lie to you. And this is one of the first problems that I find with all of this stuff with the culture war in gaming, is that gaming has opened up to people that, like I mentioned before, that, how do I put this, really don't belong in gaming. I have no problem with activists or people that are fighting for a cause, especially when the cause is a noble one. But within gaming, there has been a lot of people within the past few years that have, quite frankly, don't really care about gaming as much as they care more about their message. You know what I'm saying? We've seen so many people that come in here and try to, with Anita Sarkeesian, for example, have said everything is racist in gaming, everything is sexism, there's all of these things, all of these tropes in gaming, it's a problem and we gotta fix it, and this, that, and the third. When really it wasn't really a problem to begin with. And not only people like Anita Sarkeesian, we've also had, and if y'all see me, dealt with people like Black Girl Gamers, Zombie Kills, The Cookout, these other people that have brought in these ideals that sound good on paper, but the way they do it in practice is just completely, derivative, and you can tell that it's just virtue signaling at its finest. It's one of those things that, like I said, if you don't pay attention to it, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, we want to keep the bad people out of gaming. And to be honest with you, that stuff is few and far between. A lot of these people, they're not really into gaming. They're maybe casuals in passing at best. Now, I'm gonna segue here because I know a lot of people are like, well, what up, why are you talking bad about casuals? I'm not. I have no problem with casuals. I encourage people that want to come in and look into the gaming and want to get into gaming, you're more than welcome. The problem is when people think the casuals run this shit. Quite frankly, you don't. You're a passerby. You don't really keep the game afloat as much as you think you do. Yeah, you can cause a spike in sales, sure, but the intermediate to hardcore fans of said series that keeps the games going, the ones that play the game often, keeping the game in talks and circulation, those are the ones that, for the most part, keep the game going outside of, the gaming company itself. And it's one of those things where a lot of these people just, like I said, if you are about gaming, some of the stuff that these people complain about, quite frankly, doesn't make any sense, and the things that they keep trying to change doesn't do anything but make things worse, and the crazy part about it is that they've managed to latch on to the things that the characters that we like, right? The nostalgia bait, if you will. They latch on to the characters that we like, and then they try to change said characters, because if they try to do their own character, more often than not, it's not going to get the recognition that they feel they deserve. So what they do is they try to take what people like, or latch onto the character that people like, and then they try to slightly change it a little bit here, change the sexuality there, add a little, subliminal here, and to see how people will bite. And if, they also try to do this thing where, well, if you don't like it, they hate us, you're the bigotry, racism, sexism, this, that, and the third, homophobia, enter whatever bullshit here. And to be honest with you, it's the furthest thing from the truth, because I get it. Nobody in their right mind wants to be a bigot. Nobody wants to be a racist. They want to be generally good people, for the most part anyway. There's some people that just, and trust me, I've dealt with some people that they don't care. At least they say they don't anyway. Or they act like they don't, whatever. They want to be, edgy for whatever reason. So, but for the most part, people want to do the right thing and have enjoyable moments and stuff like that, and leave a positive mark on society, right? So when they try to use that language, they try to coerce you into buying into their program. And this is one of the reasons why we've had a steady decline in gaming for the past few years. That on top of, the uglification. And once again, I have no problem with, the whole uglification of characters, if that's what your story is about. But once again, at this point, it's clear to see that it's intentional now, because they're literally attacking, once again, with the nostalgia bait, they're attacking the characters that, people like. And they like the fact, they take advantage of the fact that, oh, well, this person's being overly attractive, they're sexual, they're this, that, and the third, and we're going to tone it down for modern audiences. And I tell you what, if anytime I hear that, I know for the most part it's not going to go good. And we've seen that in several examples, not just with gaming, but also movies, where they try to use the modern audiences and then also try to attack the customer, and it doesn't often go well for them, right? And like I said, I understand not every character needs to be, drop dead gorgeous, or, triple D breasts, humongous ass, or whatever. But I need y'all to understand something, right? That this has been dominated, gaming has been dominated by men for the most part, right? And also, I need y'all to realize that sex sells. Okay? I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you dice it. Sex sells. Does having an attractive woman in your game make the game better? Not necessarily. But it can help people get people more eyes on your game. Okay? And I'm telling you, a lot of the people that have been complaining, really, as of recent, from what I've seen, have been these hyper Puritan Ugg mugs, okay, that don't get no play. I know that sounds a little mean to somebody, but quite frankly, at this point, I don't care. These people are mad that people are finding women attractive. They're straight men, and why are you looking at these women in video games? Oh, you got these problems, and oh well, don't get me started on the whole lolicon, shotacon thing. Oh, well, she looks underage and all of that extra, once again, virtue signaling bullshit. And they start trying to muddy the waters, and then now we got these androgynous pieces of shit looking characters that we don't know what the fuck they look like, and they're only the former character by name only. You know what I'm saying? And these people don't understand what made these characters popular, and they don't care. Once again, they don't care to be involved. They're in it because they want to spread a message, or they want people to suffer. Like I said, these people got pronouns in the bios, flags in the bios of countries that would honestly have them, hanging from a stake if they found out what their sexuality was. Just saying, that's a fucking fact. But once again, why? Right? If you don't like said game, the same thing that they tell us all the time. Well, if you don't like it, don't watch or don't participate in said game. But they feel like they have to because they see that the influence that gaming has. And I get it. There are some toxic people out there. But the thing with the internet is that it brings everybody together, right? It highlights everything. It can amplify any and everything. You also got to remember that a lot of this stuff is, realistically speaking, few and far between, right? So many people, they think that all of this is always happening all the time, and I guarantee you it's not as often as you think. No, we're not advocating for racism. We're not advocating for any of that. And I've often said this, speaking of racism, now that I think about it, I've often said that I do not mind having more black people in positions where they're creating games, or they're developing AAA games or humongous budget games. I have no issue with that. My problem becomes when it's strictly on the basis of race. The new thing now is what DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, or as I like to call it in some instances, didn't earn it, because that's what it boils down to. A lot of these people, they cry race when they don't get the reaction to the game that they think that they deserve. And some of these people have never really put out games, or they're not really into games, or they try to use all the cliche stuff. Oh, I've been gaming all my life, this, that, and the third, trying to say, oh well, I've been called all of these things and I want to make a change and blah blah blah. We need to stand up for all of this stuff in gaming. Okay, whatever, cool, I get it. And like I said, I've dealt with some of that stuff before too. And at first, that's how some of that came to be, and that's how I got involved with some of these so-called groups. But what rubs me the wrong way with these groups is that they sit up here and do the exact same thing that they accuse other people of doing, and in some cases worse. They sit up here and claim racism, but then they sit up here and try to ostracize white people for the same alleged reason that they were ostracized, and which is bullshit, because in today's time we have way more options now. We have way more things available for us now than we've ever had. We got more privilege now than we've ever had before. So to keep having the same victim mentality and keep regurgitating that it does nothing for us but set us back, and it exposes that. And like I said, I've gone back and forth with plenty of people that for some reason don't seem to get that fact, and they end up trying to call me coon and all of this dumb shit because I don't agree with them. And I'm like, y'all don't realize we have more in common than y'all think we do. But you'd rather sit up here and cry victim. That's your problem. That's your fault, and that's why you suck at what you do. Call it what you want to call it. Get mad at me, I don't give a fuck. Because honestly, there is no blacks only OBS. We all got the same tools. There is no when you get online, they scan your face and you can only get on the black side. There's only this chitlin circuit of content creators. If you don't know what that means, you definitely don't know your black history. So I'm gonna need y'all to sit down and shut the fuck up and figure that out. But anywho, there is no chitlin circuit of content creators. Okay, there is not. Y'all keep trying to make it that, and it's been nothing more than a popularity contest with a lot of these people on top of oppression Olympics. You know what I'm saying? And I'm personally not for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do it, and I don't care if you don't like me because of that. We can talk about it. We can agree to disagree, but that's one thing I do not play with. I can't play with. Yes, there are some stupid people out there that may say some stupid shit. Whatever. That does not mean everybody has to pay the price for that one subset of people. You feel me? Once again, that goes back to having people in this space that don't really understand, especially those that are trying to be in competitive gaming. And I think that's another problem that's with plaguing our gaming space, is that we got too many sensitive people trying to compete, especially in competitive level games, right? We got too many sensitive people. Like, they get mad at people for taunting and teabagging in game. Like, what are you mad for? Why? Okay, I get it. If it gets on your skin that day, you had a rough day, I get it. I mean, it is what it is. But to sit up here and beg a company to ban somebody because they repeatedly hit the down button on their joystick over your dead virtual body. What the fuck? Anywho, I just feel like, honestly, a lot of y'all need to toughen up a little bit on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get it. When people go too far or take it further than when it needs to be, then yes, I understand that. That's a different story. But when you start trying to do this preemptive stuff, that's where I think you fall flat. And especially where a lot of y'all start to antagonize people and then try to call victim afterwards. Don't do that shit. Seriously, don't. Speaking of competitive gaming, eSports isn't a problem. I have to mention this because I know there's a lot of people that I know that are like, oh my God, eSports, competitive gaming is a problem. The people that say eSports is a problem, honestly, are the ones who can't compete. Argue with your mama on that. Ain't no way. Oh, I can't compete, so I don't, I think it's fucking stupid, but yet you're out here watching it. Or every time it comes across your feed, you over here, well, eSports is trash. No, you're trash. Go play the game and get good, and then come back. Now, I will say this with eSports, the problem with eSports is also goes back to what I said at the beginning of this, is there's people in eSports that don't really care about the integrity of the game, that always want to cater to casuals, and that does nothing but widen the skill gap. They think they're trying to close the gap. It's the inverse. It makes it worse for those that are professional to abuse things in the game, to make things easier. But they're not ready for that conversation. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But if y'all want to talk about that, we can probably get into that in another video. I honestly think at this point, people need to assess what they are, right? If you are a gamer, if you are a casual, that's fine. Be casual. No problem with that. Stay in your casual lane. If you are locked into a niche, you feel like you're locked into a niche, and you want to be locked into that niche, go for it. But don't try to venture out and then get mad when you're lost. You feel me? On the other side of things, that's actually a problem too in gaming, like a legit problem, is that these gaming companies are listening to these people that are in these places and having community managers in place that don't really like the customer. Okay, I don't know why y'all do this thing where y'all attack the customer and thinking that's going to get you sales. Stop. It doesn't. Okay, especially community managers. I don't know where y'all get off at, that y'all think that y'all got some kind of weird power that y'all can say what y'all want, talk bad about people and try to get people to buy your game, or try to attack people because they say something about their game that you don't necessarily like, or you hate gamers in general. I'm looking at you, Compulsion Games with Pikachu Leader. You know what I'm saying? With South of Midnight, if I remember the name of the game. We're not doing that. If you don't like gaming, you shouldn't be in a position of power within the gaming space. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but you shouldn't be in positions of power in gaming. You should just go on about your business. Find something else to do. So what? Gaming's popular. I know folks are going to get mad at me for saying that, but I do not care. Because I am tired of this nonsense of y'all attacking potential customers and then trying to hide behind the accounts. And then now you got people mad at your games. You're putting these stupid decisions in the games. The uglification of characters. Like I said, not every character has to be a bombshell character. Right? Biggest example of this, right? Look at the Mortal Kombat series. Right now, look at the Mortal Kombat. Look at Mortal Kombat 1 and look at the OG Mortal Kombat. One of the hottest characters in Mortal Kombat, Katana. Look at her costumes then and look at them now. And not just her, the rest of the female cast too. It's funny how they got to be all covered up. Body positivity, right? All of this, we don't want too much sexual, this, that, and the third. These wannabe Puritans. But the men's costumes are not changing. How is that? How is it that with Mortal Kombat being one of the biggest franchises besides Street Fighter and Tekken fighting game wise? Street Fighter's had some kind of censorship to a degree, but at least for the most part, they've done a hell of a good job. Tekken doing a hell of a good job. Mortal Kombat, trash. And it's crazy because like it's got like the blood guts. You can cut the head off, cut the arms off. You can stick them up their asshole, and then that's perfectly fine. But oh no, a girl shows too much skin. Oh my goodness, it's too much cleavage. Oh no, people lose their minds. It's a problem. Make that make sense. Making these characters androgynous. Like I mentioned earlier with this nostalgia bait shit, man. A lot of this stuff has become nostalgia bait. Spider-Man 2, it sucked because I looked at Spider-Man 2 and I didn't want any parts of it. Because I got a chance to play Spider-Man 1 on PC and that shit was amazing. That's a damn shame what they did. That was a downgrade for modern audiences. Y'all need to cut that shit the fuck out. Changing up stories, making people, oh, she's a strong woman, she's this, that, and the third. Like, we don't care. Folks want to have fun and enjoy their games. Like the whole situation with the whole samurai situation with fucking Yasuke, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, a lot of people mad about that. And I know a lot of people are just over that shit, man. Trying to change shit that don't even make sense and ignoring other actual problems. Like another big one, and this one's huge. Microtransactions, releasing half-ass games and locking that shit behind a paywall. Why does every game have to be a live service game? I'm not feeling that. Don't get me wrong, there's some good games out there. There's a couple of games out there that are, you know, free to play online, this, that, and the third. Cool. But not every game has to be free to play, live service, battle pass. I don't know about you, but I would like to play my games offline. Okay, I want to enjoy my games offline. I shouldn't have to need an internet connection to enjoy a game all the time. Especially single player games. Like, how does that make sense? How in the world are you going to sit up here and have a online check for a single player game? Now, I can understand for like a multiplayer game, you know, or a multiplayer mode. I can see that. But like online only for a single player game, it's not that serious. And then the crazy part is some of y'all studios are releasing these games half-ass and then locking that shit behind DLC or day one patches. Why a game always needs a day one patch is beyond me. Let's get back to making sure games are, you know, playable the first time. Like, I have no issue with DLC, right? I think DLC, when done right, is a good tool. Like if it's used as an extension or maybe, you know, bug fixes. And DLC technically is not a new thing. It's been around. There's been different versions of games, fighting games, for example, like in arcades. There was like different chipsets and stuff where you have to literally go in and physically take the chip out or add the other chip in, put it in a machine and, you know, run the version test. I know Street Fighter 2 was the biggest proponent of that. But at the same time, these games were playable. You didn't need a day one patch. You didn't need to be online all the time for this. There was no battle pass. And I think the battle pass is one of the things outside of bad DLC practices and bad microtransaction practices is what's ruining gaming, for real. Speaking of microtransactions, I'm gonna need y'all to chill, especially if your game is free to play. Like, I'm gonna need y'all to ease up on these microtransactions. I get it, y'all gotta make money, but hey, come on now. Not everything needs to be microtransaction to death. And most of the time they're just fucking skins. Like, that don't even do anything. Get y'all act together, bro. For real. Those are some real issues, really big issues. Outside of getting people in that don't really know what they're doing or don't care to know what they're doing. They just want to spread a message. And I get it. Some of these companies are under certain watchful eyes, if you will. I know there's a lot of content creators out there that try to cover this stuff. I need y'all to, if y'all can, for all the stuff that you don't like, try to cover some of the stuff that you do like, if you can. I know it's tough because I know sometimes, you know, all the bad news travels fast and all the drama, the clickbaits. I get it, okay? If you can. Because I've talked with Disparity about this before, and I know that was one of his big things. He's like, these people are grifting. Not all of them are. There are some people that may not have spoken up otherwise, and I gotta disagree with him on one thing, and I gotta put this here. Yes, I do agree with voting with your wallet. You do need to vote with your wallet. But telling people to shut up about how they feel at this point, especially, definitely not it. I think it's way past time for people to speak up on it. And I'm glad that people are speaking up. Now, if people are legit or not, that's on a case-by-case basis. But the fact in general that people are speaking up and saying, hey, we don't want this. As a gamer, I don't want this in my game. Beautiful thing. And talking with, you know, creating conversation, talking with other people, getting people involved with said conversation, you know, getting people to spread the message out, because it's a thing. It needs to happen. Yes. Sitting back and shutting up is not going to work. I know that might piss some people off, because I know some people are like, well, just look, let people say what they need to say. And if you are close to that person and you feel that they are not who they say they are, or they're doing extra, then if you can reach out to them, reach out to them. Now, if it comes to find out that they're grifting, then hey, call it out. And if people see that they're actually grifting, hey, let people will see it, and the audience will respond in kind for the most part, including vote with your wallet. And since we're speaking up, I will say this, like I mentioned before, add some of the things that you like as alternatives if you can. I know there's different types of gamers out there, but hey, sometimes you may need to make a shift. If you're a AAA gamer, AAA gaming is cooked in your opinion, there's indie games out there, you know what I'm saying, that's putting out some good content. And it's a shame that within the past 10 years, we haven't had a lot of games that really just stand out for the most part. But gaming should be leaps and bounds better than where it's at right now. But if you can, like I said, for those who are big into the culture war, that are big on, you know, talking about the things that they don't like in the gaming space, you know, if you can, put the stuff in there that you do like. You know, find some games that you do enjoy. There's some developers out there that are making games, or people that want to develop games. Talk with those people. Put those people on your string. You can't always just cover the bad all the time. You can't always just gloom and doom everybody. You know, that's one thing I will agree with Disparity on. It's like, yeah, you can't always gloom and doom everybody. And that goes both ways. AAA gaming might be cooked, but for every one AAA game, there's several indies out there that do just as well. And in some cases, they do better. Don't just be a bitter Betty and to be like, oh, well, gaming is cooked. And try to black pill shit. Man, get that shit the fuck out of here. Get it out. I ain't trying to hear it. And before I forget, I had to think about this one. Before I forget, I know a lot of people like to do this thing where, oh, well, if try the game. You actually got to buy the game. Try it. If you can't say you don't like it if you don't buy the game. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna need y'all to understand something. Gaming is a visual medium. Okay, sure, the gameplay might be good, but if it doesn't necessarily look good, then not a lot of people gonna be into it. It's like eating food. If the food looks burnt, undercooked, folks ain't gonna want it. If it doesn't look appetizing, folks likely ain't gonna want it. That's why people are attacking the advertising right now, because they know that if they can control that, they can try to control other people. A lot of people are waking up, and I like it. So miss me with that. Oh, well, you gotta buy the game, bitch. If I don't like if I seen some shit and I look at other people's reviews and they saying that their shit looks wrong or shit don't look good to me, and I'm not feeling it, I'm good. And you not about to sit here and try to istophobe me to death. I don't care. Eat a fat one, please, respectfully. But that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoy today's video. I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. Ran on for a little bit, and I want y'all to, like I said, find something that you enjoy. Okay, gaming is not cooked. It's not. There's a whole lot of goodness out there. You just got to go out there and find it. Feel me? Be sure to follow me on all forms of social media. 210LG. That's 210LG on almost everything except for Instagram. 210Law. 210Law. I do music here. I do gaming. I also have a couple of podcasts. I have the Emperor's Court podcast, and I have the Strip Club Chronicles podcast. And well, actually, that's a podcast / live show or recorded show, if you will. Yeah, that's a whole lot of fun that I have on that. So, yeah, if you guys want to support, be sure to drop a like, subscribe. That always helps. If you want to support me monetarily, I greatly appreciate it. Members got you. Members get, perks. I'm working on a whole lot of other perks for you guys. You guys get from things from first looks at videos, from behind the scenes looks to, some, maybe even some, special shout outs and stuff, who knows? I'm working on all that as we speak, so I can get the value to you guys for supporting the dynasty. I will be catching you guys on the next time, and until then, y'all be easy. Peace, and God bless.
The dynasty.